This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 266.
I program my own computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working. System is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. The technology.
Why, hello, everybody. This is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. Oh, wow, it's already April by the time this show comes out. That is crazy. All right, 5 WordCamps next weekend. WordCamp London, April 5th and 6th. WordCamp Torino, also the 5th and 6th. And WordCamp Santa Clarita, 5th and 6th. Those are Friday, Saturday camps. Keep that in mind. WordCamp Madrid is April 6th and 7th. And lo and behold, WordCamp Raleigh is also the 6th and 7th. And I say lo and behold because I will be at that one. It is my backyard. Ironically enough, WordCamp Santa Clarita is its first year it's having a WordCamp. It's going to be great, I'm sure. And I would totally have gone to that camp if it wasn't the same weekend as Raleigh, because I grew up about 10 minutes away from Santa Clarita over there in Southern California. And I wish them the best. I'm sure there'll be an awesome event. So if you are on the West Coast of the U.S. and you're down in Southern California, check it out. If you're on the East Coast, you're in North Carolina or anywhere nearby, come and check out WordCamp Raleigh. It's our 10th year, by the way. WordCamp Raleigh's 10th year, and it's going to be really cool. So looking forward to that in about a week's time. Very nice stuff. All right, segment 1. That's April. Crazy. All right, segment 1, moving on here. So literally, I just realized that everything on this episode could be made up. It could be just a big April Fool's joke for all we know. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. WordPress 5.2 Beta 1 was put out there last week. This version is still under development. Keep that in mind. Not recommended that you run it on a production site. What's new? The new things here are the block editor has received significant performance updates since WordPress 5.1, approximately 35%, for load times off of massive posts per the posting here. Also, a whole bunch of new block editor, new blocks, RSS block, an Amazon Kindle block, search block, calendar, and a tag cloud block. So those are also new as well. Or so the post says. I don't know. This just could be a joke. So, also in the news, Automatic and Adam Silver have merged. The new name is going to be called Automatic. So keep that one in mind. And more information probably next year. All right, segment 2, the meat and potatoes of this week's show. 5 tips to fix the common WordPress hiccup. So this week I want to share my 5 simple fixes, or just fixes, and they're not just mine. These are how you fix 5 simple things that I think all WordPress users should be aware of, because these are fresh for me. They've all come across my desk in the past few weeks and months, and I've seen them many times over the years of doing what I do. And 2 of them, for 2 different clients, just actually came up with the same thing, oddly enough, in the last 10 days. So, all right, so here's 5 things, 5 tips, things to fix that you may see very common out there in the WordPress world in doing some development. The first one is increasing the load time of upload limits to the server regarding PHP. I just spoke last week about PHP version 7, how much faster it is. So what I mean by increasing the time of upload limit is why? Well, some hosts and the servers will time out because they have set very low limits to execution time. Okay, so the way you do this is you need to manually change or add info to the htaccess file. Now, the how is you FTP or file manager via the cPanel to your directory. You open and edit the htaccess file, and you add a line that says php_value max execution time 300. I'll put a link to, there's a link in the show notes for this as well. So it's not that hard to do. It's really isn't that hard whatsoever. And what that does is it gives you the execution time of 300 versus there might not be one. So by default, many hosts only allow PHP execution to be very low, and things can just time out. And that's a problem for certain scripts to happen. So there was a plugin, by the way, that used to do this. I looked into it, but it had not been updated in over 2 years or the past 3 versions of WordPress. So I didn't even test it. And I'm surprised it's still in the repository, but if someone knows about it or anything else newer, by all means, let me know. I'll share it. So the second one is the error you might get, memory exhausted error. So why you get this is because you might have a plugin or a theme that's too large to upload and then activate. as it was for a recent client site. We don't host that site. It's not on my hosting, so where I set some people up for hosting. The fix here is to add a line of code again, but this is not to htaccess. This is to wp-config.php. The line of code is define, and then parentheses, wp_memory_limit, 256, close all that out. I'll link to that. I'll put a code of that in the snippet in the notes as well, because to kind of spell it all out doesn't make sense here for you. You want to copy and paste it. And what that does, the code tells WordPress to increase the PHP memory limit to 256 megabytes versus, let's say, it might be set to 32 or 64. That 256 gives you plenty of space to upload a file of some sort. It could be any file really, but plugin, theme, images, whatever it may be. It's a lot. You don't need to be that big, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So, okay. Number 3, how to fix an image upload issue on WordPress. So this case is interesting. It's when images sometimes go missing or broken placeholders inside the media library when you try to upload a photo. So you get an error. So what happens is this error occurs is because the directory in the WordPress installation may have the wrong permissions. Something's changed on the server accidentally, usually, so it's changed. So the way you have to deal with this is you connect back to the host through FTP, or you can also do this again through cPanel or File Manager, but FTP works really well here. You can go to wp-content into the directory, and then you're going to see an uploads folder. And right-click on that, or control-click on it, and you want to set the permissions to 744. If that doesn't work, you can try 755. Okay, so it's just a permissions issue. It's not that hard to fix. And you can, of course, Google these things. I'm just trying to give you a shortcut here to things that I keep seeing over and over again in the last few months. So also, the next step, you also need to set file permissions for all the files in the uploads directory. To do that right, you want to make that file to be that folder, that directory to be a 644. Okay, so and then check the box to make that recursive in subdirectories. That makes sense? I think so. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Okay, so number 4. This was interesting. This is the one that came across my desk a couple times recently. So first, it's how to have multiple landing pages for advertising purposes, but not get dinged from search engines like Google. So first, let's define what this is about. This is about the canonical URL. And that's what search engines refer to when they see multiple versions of a page on your website around the web. And a lot of search engines don't like duplicate content. For this issue, in this use case, the client wants to have multiple landing pages and use PPC, pay-per-click, on different places like Facebook ads, Google AdWords, etc., to track conversions and the ad spend to see what's working, what's not working. But like I said, Google doesn't like duplicate content. So the simple solution here is to use an SEO plugin that allows you to enter the main URL, the baseline one, as the reference. And it tells search engines this is the core content. Everything else, the same content. Yes, we know it's duplicate. We're not trying to game the system, and it'll be less likely considered as duplication of content. So both the two main players in SEO, Yoast and All-in-One SEO, have this functionality in the plugin, in the free level of the plugin. So keep that in mind. You don't need to go pay extra for this necessarily. So there's a place to put in the canonical URL in the post page, in the settings, and it should solve that problem. So there's that. Okay, and number 5, the final one here. Oh, this one happens. I see this all the time because I do a lot of testing. How to fix destination folders that already exist in WordPress. Meaning this error occurs when you install WordPress, a theme or a plugin. And when you go to delete something after testing and whatnot, you may get, when you try to put it back up, let's say you want to add that plugin back in later. Well, sometimes when you removed it, it didn't remove the actual directory itself. So what you need to do is, again, go into either FTP or cPanel, and you want to go all the way down to WP content, plugins, and then delete the actual directory. Once you delete it, it's that simple. You can then reinstall the plugin or the theme. If it's I say WP content plugins or WP content themes, go ahead and delete the one you want to get rid of. For some reason, when you remove plugins and themes, deactivate them and delete them, they don't completely delete. And some plugins don't delete their data, which can actually leave big files inside of uploads, meaning there's a cloning plugin, WP Clone, which I do use from time to time still. When you turn it off, it does not remove the zip file that may have been made. And you turn the plugin back on, you can't get to it. You have to go in manually to remove that file. So keep that in mind as well. So anyway, like I said, to fix this issue, if you have folder already exists error, you're going to go dive all the way in FTP or cPanel through File Manager and go into the plugins folder or the theme folder and delete that directory and then try it again. So that should work for you. All right, there they are, the 5 common little hiccups that I see over and over again. I wanted to share those with you and ways to solve them. Moving on, segment 3, the tip and tool of the week. So if you're looking to learn something new, maybe take a month of doing a coding challenge like some of my other friends are trying to do. And I don't think they did so well this last month, nor did I. Anyway, let's say you want to learn PHP, because I do. I want to learn more PHP. Well, Code Academy is offering a free course. It's over at codeacademy.com/learn/learn-php. I'll put a link in the show notes. Completely free, 3 hours to complete approximately. The prereq was to know some HTML, obviously. And what I'd read about it was that they had some old courses up here and PHP has changed, so they recreated all this coursework and it's now free. So if I'm not mistaken, check it out. Link in the show notes. I have no connection to them whatsoever, but it should be cool if you want to learn PHP. All right, that is it this week. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com. Use the SpeakPipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can come to Patreon, also on the website. If you want to sponsor, another form there on the website. And thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. See you next week. Bye-bye.